A young woman sits on a chair in front of a police officer. She looks exhausted, drained, and defeated. Police officer: Miss, I understand that you've been scammed out of your money, but unfortunately, you're not the only victim. This scheme has affected many people. Young woman: But when will I get my money back? I have nowhere else to go. Police officer: The investigation is ongoing. We'll inform you if there's any progress. She slowly stands up and leaves the station, staring at her phone with empty eyes. She stands outside the police station, replaying the past few moments in her head. Young woman, muttering to herself, how did this even happen to me? She lifts her phone and dials a friend. Young woman, on the phone. There are so many victims, not just me. Friend on the other end. What? Have you filed a case? Where are you now? Young woman, I'm in front of the police station. What should I do? I feel so stupid. Friend, come over to my place. At the very least, let me buy you a meal so we can talk. She stands in front of the station, gripping her phone tightly. The night air is cold, and the distant sound of cars passing by fills the silence. Her voice trembles slightly. Young woman, are you really sure it's okay for me to come over? I really appreciate this. I'm sorry, I keep depending on you. A short pause. Her eyes glisten with unshed tears, her face flushed with emotion. She tries to hold it together but is on the verge of breaking down. Friend, on the phone. Hey, don't apologize. It's nothing. But what about work tomorrow? Should I talk to the team leader for you? Quickly, nervously. No, I'll handle it myself. Thank you. She hangs up, staring at her phone before sighing deeply. She starts walking slowly, lost in thought, thinking. Of course, things would be easier if Hyunwoo spoke up. He's the CEO of the company, after all. She walks down the quiet street, her head lowered. Her mind drifts, not to her own past, but to his. A memory surfaces, Hyunwoo, in his early 20s, stepping off a plane in the US, eyes filled with determination. Years ago, Hyunwoo moved to America. With his older brother and a few colleagues, they developed a game that became a global sensation. Now he's a famous developer, managing the game development division at... She looks down at her phone while walking, her mind still trapped in memories. He's been my childhood friend for 15 years. Compared to him, I'm just a regular employee who barely started working. She remembers when she first joined the company and carelessly mentioned knowing Hyunwoo. The rumors had spread like wildfire. Since then she had been careful. Suddenly her worn-out slipper slips off and she stumbles, falling onto the pavement, muttering to herself, I really need to throw away these cheap slippers. She looks up from the ground and sees a sleek, expensive car parked nearby. The owner steps out, a tall man in an elegant suit, his strikingly handsome features almost sculpted. He looks down at her with a neutral expression. Man. Puppy? She blinks in confusion. Man. Are you really walking your puppy without a leash? That's dangerous. Still puzzled, pointing at her lost slipper. Are you talking about my slipper? The man follows the direction of her finger, hesitating for a moment. Man, thinking. Who names their dog Slipper? But then he spots the slipper on the ground and frowns, irritated. He bends down, picks it up. You don't have to pick it up for me. Before she can finish, he casually tosses it toward a nearby trash bin, but misses. Stunned. What? Man, expression unchanging. It was blocking the way. It just happened to land near the trash can. Man, straightens his suit. Be more careful in the future. It could lead to an accident, don't you think? She just stares at him, dumbfounded. Young woman, thinking. No. It was your ridiculous misunderstanding that made you stop your car in the first place. Is everything just about looking good for you? She squints, suddenly feeling like she's seen him somewhere before. Wait a minute. Have we met before? He chuckles, a small smirk appearing on his lips. Man. If that's your flirting line, it's a bit
Cliché, don't you think? She gapes at him, utterly confused. He turns away, heading back to his car. Man, I don't have time for pointless small talk. Have a good night. She watches as he drives away, frustration boiling inside her, thinking, did he seriously think I was flirting with him? Still fuming, she gets on a bus, staring at her destroyed puppy slipper, and thinking, how can someone be so rude? Just because he's rich, he thinks he can treat people like that? She sighs, thinking, well, I can't deny I envy his wealth right now. She arrives at a large house and knocks on the door, mumbling to herself, muttering, why does a single person need a house this big? The door opens. She starts to call for Hyunwoo but freezes in shock. Standing in front of her is the rude stranger from earlier. Both of them stare at each other, equally bewildered. Man, are you a stalker? Offended, still trying to process the situation. Excuse me? Man, calmly. Well, who else would be a stalker here besides you, coming all the way to someone's house like this? Is this about what happened earlier? No, I should be the one asking you. Before she can finish, another voice comes from behind him. Hyunwoo. Bro, why are you just standing there? Wait, isn't that Yoon-seo? The man in the doorway stays silent, grinning. It's freezing outside. Come in. Yoon-seo stands at the doorstep, her mind spinning in chaos. Then realization hits her like a wave. Whispers in shock, Jungwoo?